let's button this thing up, shall we? Let's bring our boy Chris Sims, our new teammate, our quarterback, Chris Sims, into the car. What's up, Doug? How you doing?
What's up, Michaels, I should say. I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good. No, appreciate you. Listen, you know who's not doing well, unfortunately, through no fault of his own, Tyrod Taylor. I got to start with that story.
Ooh.
Because as you know,
wow,
the idea that you cannot lose your job to injury, that's whoever said that is just completely wrong. It happens all the time. However, this is unusual. For those that haven't been keeping track, cracked ribs, painkiller injection before the game, went horribly wrong, punctured a lung. That's why he was a late scratch. Justin Herbert, 6th overall pick, looked fantastic. They're sticking with Herbert for health reasons. Hard to believe that Anthony Lynn and the organization would go back from Herbert, but that's I hate to use this word because life ain't fair, but that's real unfair, ain't it, Chris Sims?
I mean, it's about as unfair as it gets. It really is. I mean, first off, I really do feel bad for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, it was 2 years ago, right, when he's playing for the Cleveland Browns, hurts his wrist, and the same story happens. Baker Mayfield comes in, and we go, whoa, he looks kind of good. I know he's a rookie, but let's start playing him, you know. Then got supplanted in Buffalo when he went to the playoffs. So he's been very unlucky, underappreciated, all those types of things. And this is one where I don't even know how to explain it. You know that's a tricky area there in the ribs. He wants to play. He's tough. I'm sure the doctor, who I don't think is intentionally trying to hurt him, I mean, he's a good guy. He's just trying to get it in there to where Tyrod can throw and feel comfortable. But obviously that didn't happen. And now you've got the Carolina Panthers versus the Chargers this weekend. And Herbert, as you mentioned, looked really good last week. He's got the highest ceiling, guys, out of all the quarterbacks that came out in this last draft. He's got some freakish ability, as you saw. And Carolina's defense is not that good. I would expect him to play pretty well. And then the owner and GM step into the situation and go, wait, we drafted this guy number 6. He looks pretty good. Yep. Let's start the future and start going there.
Well, I want to ask about that comment about Herbert having the highest ceiling. But before I get there, just a game situation. Anthony Lynn defended himself, giving it up on 4th and 1, wanted to give his team another opportunity. What did you think? I feel like if you're going to play Kansas City, you got to be aggressive and go for it. How did you see it?
Yeah, that's one of those there. And I'm not always for the aggressive move, go for the aggressive move. But when you play Kansas City, this is where analytics are different. You know, it's not always, you know, oh, the numbers say do this and I'll do it. No, you got to take into account what's on the other side of the field. Do the analytics, do they have a formula that can say, whoa, this is the clutchest guy in football on the other side and he can make magic happen? No, probably not. Now, the thing that Anthony Lynn, I think, probably saw is he went, Kansas City struggled moving the ball against us all day long. I think my defense can make one more stop. But as we've seen, you don't do that against Patrick Mahomes. So, no, I did not totally agree with that decision. I probably would have gone for it. You're right. Push the issue. I'm sick of analytics all over football, though. I can tell you that much.
That's funny. You know, you mentioned that Herbert has the highest ceiling. And I'm thinking about Tua Tagovailoa. I love that pick from Miami. I loved him in college, and he used to get banged up a lot, and I guess that's not a good thing for a quarterback. You tell me. But I would say it's him. Why would you pick Herbert over Tua?
Right. Well,
and Joe Burrow, for that matter.
Well, Joe Burrow's amazing.
Yeah.
Burrow was definitely the most game ready to go. I mean, I made him my number 1 quarterback in this class, but Herbert had things you saw in the evaluation process where you went like, whoa, look at this big dude running down the sideline, running away from DBs. I mean, last week he ran over a linebacker and concussed him. And then he has an arm that truly is special. I mean, I know you guys saw some of the game last week. He made a few throws in that game where I think the Kansas City defenders were like, whoa, I can't believe you got that in there. We thought only our guy or like an Aaron Rodgers could do that. So he came from Oregon. It was a really basic, raw offense, and it wasn't pretty. So he's got room to grow that way. Tua, on the other hand, Mr. Holley, all right, I was not the biggest fan of him coming out. He was my 3rd-rated quarterback. I like him, don't get me wrong, but you mentioned it. Size issues, overrated athleticism. He's good in the pocket and can bounce around, but made very few NFL throws when people were around him. And I would like to just, also say he had, 2 offensive first-round tackles, 4 first-round wide receivers, an unbelievable offense. And that offense didn't miss a beat, really, when he came out. So I think he was a little bit more overrated, in my opinion, Holley. and just the fact that I think he was a piece in a great machine, which is Alabama. I'm not sure how great Tua will be as a pro. We'll see. I'll bet you a burger on it or something.
Okay. So, you know what? Tua, we don't expect him to play because he's not starting yet.
Right.
I want to talk to you about my Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh.
That's my squad. And that's the nerd in me talking. That is the general manager that I've always wanted to be. That's my dream, talking with a team that's got 11 draft picks in this year's draft after having, I think, 10 or whatever in the last draft that dismantled it. Because that's how I would have done. I would have liquidated the roster, right? But then you turn around and, this isn't the plan. You win week 1 against Houston. Thankfully, they had a moral victory, because that's what I'm about, is moral victories with this team, because I was tanking for Trevor. But I'll be damned if Gardner Minshew don't look like the truth. So if you're the Jacksonville, are you a believer in Gardner Minshew? Is he the quarterback? And now you got the best of both worlds. You already got your quarterback. Now you can take those 2 first-rounders and the rest of those draft picks and build the rest of your team. How do you see that franchise's future at the QB position?
Well, I think it could. Yeah, I think you explained it pretty well. I mean, I am a believer in Gardner Minshew. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's got everything you want as an NFL starting quarterback. Moxie, charisma, playmaking ability. When the offense doesn't deliver somebody open, he has a great ability to kind of move around the pocket, dance, get out of the pocket, make a play that way. When there are plays there to be had, he doesn't miss it. He takes advantage of all that's there. So I'm with you. And, yeah, they're kind of rebuilding on the fly. There's a lot of young, talented guys on that team right now that I like. And if this continues what we saw, I know they're 1-1. They didn't really deserve to beat the Colts week 1, but regardless, they've looked very good in both games where you go, whoa, they're better than I thought. If he continues to play like this, then yeah, sorry, it's they got to move on from the Trevor Lawrence conversation and start just building around Gardner Minshew and build the team to be the best team possible. You don't always need the greatest quarterback in the history of the planet to win football games, go to the playoffs, and win a Super Bowl. We discussed that a little last week, right? I mean, hey, Phil Simms had the Giants and the Giants D. He won a Super Bowl because of that and a running game, and he made some throws. Dan Marino didn't get that. So he got 0 Super Bowls, and it's about the team, and I think we've lost sight of that now in the NFL. It's all about one guy constantly.
Well, you mentioned Phil Simms, and I know one thing Phil Simms knows about is he knows about Bill Belichick and Bill Belichick fashion. He knows about Bill Belichick quirks. So does Chris Simms. He did not look good yesterday, Chris. I just got to tell you, I don't know what was going on there. But you've been around, and Michael Smith said it yesterday. He said, Bill Belichick just gives 0 Fs about anything. He just doesn't care. Hey, here it is. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. You leave it. I don't care. I'm sure you've seen and witnessed that side of Bill Belichick. Give us some of your observations over the years of Bill just kind of doing his own thing.
Well, yeah, he does his own thing. He gives 0 Fs, as what Michael Smith is saying. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's past the point of trying to be charismatic, with the media or anything like that. It's a far cry from his days when he was like the coach of the Jets for one day, right? You go back and watch that, and now he's won 6 Super Bowls, and he's like, I can wear anything to a press conference. It doesn't matter. But he's the ultimate curmudgeon, guys. He really is. I mean, if you made me bet, they got off the plane from Seattle, and that coaching staff went right to the office, never went home, didn't sleep. He probably slept at the office that next night, and he just said, the hell with doing my hair or trying to look good for a press conference. That's not going to happen. Guys, he's the kind of guy that's so deep in thought and so in another world. I always say, like, if he was on Wall Street, he'd be running Wall Street. He'd be the wolf. But, like, I would walk by him when I worked there, guys, and it would be me and him alone, gone down a hallway at 9 o'clock at night. And I'd be a little nervous because I'm like, oh, gosh, here comes Coach Belichick. And he'd be kind of walking and thinking. And I would be, hey, Coach. And he would look up, and it's like he had no idea I was walking there next to him. He was so deep in thought, thinking about game plan and what he was going to do. And it was kind of like, oh, hey, Chris. Like, I didn't even see you there. But that's the way he is. And, yeah, you're right. He doesn't care about anything else except winning and that football team.
So my last thing for you, Chris, I can't let you go without talking about the game of the week, maybe the game of the year. It may not be the best game, and it's very early in the season, week 3, to be calling the game of the year. Who knows what happens? But I think it's the highest stakes game of the year. The Patriots will be there at the end, as Bill likes to say. I think 2 other organizations that you know are going to be there at the end, especially if their quarterbacks stay healthy, Kansas City and Baltimore. Who do you like in that game? And I feel like it'll come back to bite the loser in terms of home field in the AFC title game or just in the playoffs in general. Who do you like?
Yeah, I mean, especially going to come back to bite them in the butt on this year when you only get one team that gets that first round bye, right? Because of the new playoff format. Yep. So it's even more important. I always went into this the last few years going, Kansas City matches up really well with the Baltimore Ravens. Steve Spagnuolo, the things he'll do on defense, he's so smart, he's creative. Kansas City does have some big people in the middle of their defense to where I always felt like they can slow down that Lamar Jackson high-octane run attack. And then with Baltimore being so aggressive on the defensive side and Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey in your face and we're going to play bump and run and blitz, I always thought that played into the hands of Mahomes and the Chiefs. But there's a little bit of a difference this year. And I'm riding with the Ravens in this one, and I wouldn't have last year. The Ravens, I think the big thing is this. Lamar Jackson, good thing they didn't move him to receiver, okay? That's what I'm going to say. Because he is the man. He's almost, unstoppable at this point. With his ability to run, and we continue to see the polish as a passer and him making plays that way, and now they have the emergence of the Hollywood Brown and a few other receivers that are dependable in the pass game. I don't see how Kansas City beats Baltimore on Monday night. Not with Calais Campbell and Marcus Peters on the team now and some other young linebackers who are impressive. I think Baltimore's, closed that gap and is better than Kansas City.
And Michael Holley places his bet right now. Thank you very much, Chris Sims. I'm taking your word for it. Hey, appreciate you, man. Always good to see you. And by the way, let's not bet a burger. Let's bet a steak. I need steak.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'm
no
down
burgers.
for that. Yep, okay.
Right.
Good steak. I'll take that. Thanks for having me, guys. I'll see you next week, I hope. I think I might be coming back.
Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's regular. Let's make this a regular thing, brother. Appreciate you.
All right.
Hang out.
See you
Get you on the three-way next week.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.